Coming up, 3 reasons why you might be struggling to figure out your type and what you can do about it. What's up, team? It's Sherman here from Geek Psychology. So I get this question a lot. Like, what is my type? How do I know? I can't figure out my type. Could I be 2 types? Do I shift types? Am I all sorts of things? Am I a bunny rabbit? Does MBTI have no actual standing and meaning? Like, what is going on? Just people are so confused about it. And so hopefully this video is going to give you some information into that. Actually, I know it will because I've been through it. So the top 3 reasons why I feel most people don't understand their type or cannot figure out their type or are still struggling with it. 1 is because the tests are crap. It's true. 2, it's a lack of knowledge in some realm, which I'll be breaking these down a little bit. And number 3, over-identification with something that causes a personality aspect to be brought out a bit stronger usually than you're not expecting from a specific type. All right, so the first one here, the tests are crap. I don't really need to explain it too much, but if you are taking an online test and it's forced choice, like you have A or B, or it's A, B, C, D, whatever it is, and you have no way of explaining the nuances of it, you're choosing between 2 jargon-laden answers, and it's just like, I don't know which one. I guess maybe it's this one, or it's kind of a meaningless scale of whatever. It sucks, right? It's not going to get you to a clear answer all the time. Sometimes it can. Actually, I went through, the first time I took the test, I went through and I got INFP, and I still identify with INFP. I haven't really felt any other ones. I've kind of played around with it a little bit, but I've always come back to INFP. But that doesn't happen for everybody, and that's fine, but it's largely, in my opinion, a result from the tests. The tests force you into these questions, into these answers, and you just kind of go through it and you don't have any say. You don't have any way of explaining the nuances. You don't have any way of clarifying or saying, actually, no, it's not A or B, it's C, or it's A and B, and this is why. Right? You can't do that on a test. And having taken the test once, a lot of people take it again and then again. And by that point, you can kind of game the system, right? You could even do it the first time through if you're smart, right? But that doesn't really help you, right? Being honest and authentic with yourself as you're taking the test is the best approach to doing that, but you still have that difficulty with it being a test, right? Number 2 is lack of knowledge, and this might rub some people the wrong way, but lack of knowledge comes in 2 different places, in my opinion, with this model. 1 is lack of self-knowledge, and 2 is lack of knowledge of the model of cognitive functions or MBTI. Lack of self-knowledge, there are different personality types that do kind of struggle with connecting the patterns about their past and who they are, or other types that really can see themselves in anything, right? Like, part of me does this, part of me does this, I could see me doing this, and it makes the test difficult to take if they're taking a test, and it also makes kind of filtering through the information difficult. And with that also, there are tons of people who don't really want to feel boxed in. They don't want to feel like you can classify me as a human being, my identity, into one of 16 types. There's some validity in that, and I'm not going to talk about it in this video, but that is something that people run into, right? The self-knowledge kind of does, in my opinion, help you bridge that gap a little bit. The more you know about yourself and the more open you are to exploring the model, the higher the chance is that you're going to find a type that you resonate with. And within that, understanding the model is extremely important. Because if you don't really know the nuances, the differences between extroverted intuition and introverted intuition, or extroversion, introversion on its own, or feeling, thinking, judging, perceiving, there's so much going on, a lot of different pieces within the system, within the model. And if you have kind of spotty knowledge or warped knowledge around one part, it might mess up the whole system within your mind, right? And so that's something you got to work on, and it's something that takes time, and it just, it takes effort to go in and to research it to the degree that you can pick it apart if you're somebody who is struggling with understanding their type or finding their type. And the next point here is over-identification. And what I mean by that is in two different realms, again, we'll do two different realms. There's the environment and there's your experience. So if the environment rewarded you for doing something, then you're going to probably have an over-identification with that if it's not necessarily within your personality type. Like if you are raised by all sensors and you're an intuitive, you'll probably feel a little different, you'll feel a little strange, but also you might actually resonate with the sensing world because it's been, I suppose, forced on you for so long, right? Everybody around you is doing sensing type things, so it might come more naturally for you to do that, and that brings some skewing when you're trying to understand your type and when you're reading like kind of vague lists of descriptions and stuff like that, instead of going through the cognitive functions themselves. And so the environment rewards you for doing certain things, whatever that is, right? Thinking, feeling could be in there, perceiving, judging could be in there, whatever it is, there's something that's going to be rewarded. And depending on your personality type, depending on who you are, your view of the world, is there an outer locus of control or inner locus? Like, do you have the ability to change the world, or is the world kind of doing its own thing and you're trying to keep up? Like, there's tons of different things that go into it, right? So I'm feeling you on this, I understand this, but assessing those things like your environment could give you some insight into finding your type. Also, your personal experiences. What things have you done in your life that have been rewarded, and what have you continued to do because of that? So it's related to experience, it's related to the environment, but it's personal experience, right? I feel good when I do introverted sensing things. Well, I'm an INFP. I've kind of over-identified with my tertiary function. I like the comfort. I don't like pushing out of my comfort zone. So maybe sensing sounds like a good thing. It sounds like it's a good fit for me. And then that would lead me to think, well, maybe I'm an ISFP. Could be, but if I don't know the model, you see how all these are connected? If I don't know the model and I don't really understand the differences between extroverted sensing and introverted sensing, which are pretty different, then it's going to cause some confusion. And with this, you might be naturally moving away from your own strengths, your natural tendencies. As an INFP, if intuition is not rewarded, if it's kind of a traumatic area, then I'm probably going to run from that a little bit and go more towards sensing things, right? If it's rewarded, then you might use that more than is naturally expected from your personality type. So what you can do is just understand that it's a journey. Discovering your type and life in general is a journey. Just continue at it. If you don't know it, don't get overly frustrated by it, but just be like, oh, this is something I gotta figure out. I'm going to go through it. I'm going to take the time and enjoy this journey, because that's going to give you a lot of insight into the other personality types as well. And I also suggest picking a type. Just pick a type that you kind of resonate with and try it on. Just put it on like a skin. It's kind of weird. It's from watching Altered Carbon. put it on like a suit and wear it around a little bit, right? Try it out, see how it goes, research as much as you can about it for a couple weeks, or whatever it is, and see if it really does resonate with you, or if there are some things that don't quite. And the next step would be to get really scientific on it, like break apart the model, really deeply understand the different cognitive functions and what is introversion, what is extroversion, what is sensing, what is intuiting, what are perceiving functions, what are judging functions, right? Introverted thinking, extroverted thinking, how are they different? What are they going to do? What's the goal of it? What kind of behaviors are likely to come out of it? And those behaviors, how they fit within the function stack at different levels. Like, there's tons of stuff that you can research and learn about it. I suggest you do that because it's going to help you really dig into it, really figure it out. And the last one is get typed by somebody. Like, not in the human test giving, like, I'm going to be a robot, I'm going to read these questions for you and you're going to respond to them. Is it A, B, C, or D? No, get like someone who knows about it to assess and to listen to you and try to piece it together. Try to go kind of through the back door of your mind and understand what you're getting at, what you're doing, how you feel your best, what kind of struggles come for you, and piece that together and understand your personality type through that. I do that. I'm offering this to you. I do that, but I honestly, I'm just too busy to do it for everybody. And if you do want it, I highly recommend it. I mean, one, because it's something that I do, and it will cost a little bit of money. I'm not sure quite how much yet, but it's a good experience. It helps you really understand how you are functioning and what you can do to use your strengths and deal with your weaknesses and actually kind of head off your weaknesses and make better use of your whole personality type and share that with the world, because that's something that is very important, that comes from knowing yourself, comes from knowing your personality type and knowing the strengths and the struggles that are, you know, a component of that. All right, so I hope this video was helpful. Please let me know what was, what wasn't, and any other struggles that you're having with finding your personality type, or for the people who have done it and been through it and struggled and actually figured it out, what helped you? Share that down below, because other people are looking, I guarantee it. And other people will be very appreciative of your information, you sharing your journey here, all right? So keep up the lifelong questing. Good luck, have fun. Peace.